Good morning. Welcome to Hot Seat. I'm Scott Mitchell. Pleased to have the chairman of the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association, Mr. Matt Morgan. Mr. Morgan, good to have you this morning.
Thank you, Scott. Glad to be here.
Online betting, sports betting. Now, help us understand the terms of this. There's going to be some legislation introduced for sports betting in Oklahoma. A bunch of states are going to be looking at this in the future. How does the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association look at this legislation? Are you for it?
So first off, appreciate Representative Luttrell, but too early to say whether we're for it or against it, but appreciate the conversation starter.
Is it something, at this particular point, I'm assuming this sort of activities outlined in this bill are illegal. That's a lot of money nationally when it's not legal. How would this impact Oklahoma gaming that we have right now that is legal?
So I think it'd be additive. It'd be another amenity, a form of gaming that we don't have that I think customers in Oklahoma want. Legal right now in 33 states across the country. So we're not on the front end of this. We're more on the tail end of it. But it's something I think our customers want.
Now, we've seen startups in the last few years for new programs, new organizations. I'm thinking about medical marijuana, has lots of problems. I'm wondering about the foundation. If we did have sports betting in Oklahoma, would that include the foundation that's already in place with tribal gaming in Oklahoma? Is that the best foundation in your opinion?
I think you're correct. The way that I foresee this would be a supplement where you'd already take in everything that's already set there in the State Tribal Gaming Act through its compacts with tribes, and you would add in a new form of gaming. But that's where I think the devil's in the details. It's got to make economic sense. It's got to work for both parties.
Now, the worst kept secret in Oklahoma is that the governor and tribes here in Oklahoma are having some disagreements on a lot of issues. With the compacts that are in place now, would sports betting fit into those, or would you have to do major changes to those compacts for sports betting to happen in Oklahoma?
Not major changes, purely a supplement, add the form of gaming. We don't have to recreate the wheel here. We can look at other jurisdictions and what they've done. Again, already going on illegally here in the state. This would just making something that's illegal into something that's legal, and thereby allowing tribes in the state to garner much needed revenue from.
What kind of money, what kind of jobs would we be talking about if this were to happen in Oklahoma? An estimate about that?
So each form is unique depending on what would be enabled through the legislation, and those vary from site to site. So really hard to pin down in forms of revenue. Like I say, it would be additive. It's not a panacea, but I think the main thing is it would, one, help us get back on track with the tribal state relations, and two, bring something into the light and let's regulate it for people who are out there already doing this illegally.
Now, you mentioned maybe getting back on track with good relations. Mr. Luttrell says he's going to introduce this bill. The governor said he'll take a look at this. Could this possibly be a way to resolve some of the hard feelings right now between tribes in the executive branch?
There's definitely needs to be conversation between tribes and the state, both at the legislature and within the governor's office. This may be it. We'll see what the legislative appetite is, because they have to make an offer to the tribes. And like I say, I think the tribes stand ready to consider anything they put forth, but it needs to make economic sense.
Matt Morgan is the chairman of the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association. We're going to see this legislation introduced this session. Mr. Morgan, thanks for being with us this morning to explain your viewpoint on where this might head.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.